All right, so that's all you really cared about. We got the acceleration runs. You got to hear how it sounds. So now we can get to the boring stuff. So it's been a couple weeks since I got the Supercharger on. I've done a little bit of development. Travis from Elate has been back and forth to help me get it running because I had a few issues when I first started, but it seems like everything's running perfectly now. This thing is just, it's epic. Like, it feels like you got a bigger engine, instant boost, you know, yada yada, like they say. But the big thing is you're just, when you're cruising around, especially on the highway, just a tip into the throttle and you got all the torque you need to move and pass people or get up the mountain, or it doesn't have to downshift now out of overdrive to get up a crest and a hill. It can just kind of motor up there. So the overall drivability is just like amazing. I'm really happy with the kit so far. I did some 0 to 60 and quarter-mile acceleration runs with my Draggy device, and basically what we did is we dropped the 0 to 60 by like 4 seconds compared to when it was stock, and quarter mile by about 2 or 2.5 seconds. So the numbers aren't going to blow you away. It's 9.9 seconds to 0 to 60, and the quarter mile at like 17.4 at 77 miles an hour. So it's slow for most vehicles, but for a big truck like this with chunky tires and the armor and everything, it's pretty good. And also, 100 series are not fast by any stretch. So for 100 series, this is pretty good. Also, we're here in Colorado at 6,000 feet, so you're not gonna, all cars are slow here. You're not gonna get the same time as that they get in the magazines. But the overall drivability, how it feels, is just epic. It drives so good. And also part of that acceleration is the transmission. So it has to shift twice to get to 60, and it has to shift another once to get to the quarter mile. So if I can do some transmission mods, we can probably drop that time further. I am planning on doing a valve body upgrade because the more I read, the more I should have done a valve body upgrade long ago, because it just seems to be an excellent wake up for an old transmission or any kind of Land Cruiser transmission. So let me show you underneath the hood and show you some of the things, the issues I ran into and the fixes and what I'm working with now. All right, so first of all, you can see I got a cool Elate hat. I guess you could say I'm sponsored by them. They sent me this sweet hat. You know, I paid full retail for the Supercharger and all, but I'm still sponsored, right? We can say that. So a couple things that I did, like I mentioned, I was having some issues with it. I was thinking that I had a boost leak because I was only getting like maximum 2 psi, mostly like 1.5 psi, and basically what was happening is the belt was slipping. So I upgraded to the green Gates belt, which is this guy here, and this is like one of the highest strength belts for high power draws that you can get. And with that belt on there, I was immediately able to get up to 3.6 psi. I thought I had some boost leaks or something because I was like turbo guy. I thought I had a boost leak, but it was a slipping belt. So that was one thing that was new to me for Superchargers. And Travis at Elate over there, he helped me diagnose that problem, and I pulled on the belt one day after I was driving it, and I could like literally stretch it like a rubber band. So with this gate belts on there, it's a lot better. So since I changed that new belt, it's been way better and no more slippage. And the belt that is included with the kit is a high quality belt. It's just that my kit, for whatever reason, I didn't get the right belt. I got one that was too short, so I had to source my own, and that's what I ended up using. So the other thing is that Travis used his calculator, and really all that I can expect up here at my altitude at 6,000 feet elevation is about 3.6 psi. So I was getting the right boost. It was just the elevation as you go up with the Supercharger, the boost drops down. And that's just because you start at a lower air pressure up here, just the way that the atmosphere is. So what I did is I bought a 75 millimeter pulley. As you can see, the two pulleys there, and with the 75 millimeter pulley, now I'm getting about 5.5 psi, and it's a lot faster, and it really is how I expected it at first. So both of them give me gains. The the 75 mil pulley is giving me the best performance right now. Like I said, with that 75 millimeter pulley, I should be able to get closer to 6 psi. Right now I'm getting 5.5. And so I think maybe if I modify the intake tube, I can get that last half of a psi. This is my first supercharger, so it's kind of interesting how it behaves and the things you have to adjust differently from like a turbo. So it's really cool. I'm really happy and it's learning from it. So other than that, it's been running great. I went ahead and I changed to some refurbished 12-hole injectors. Those are the fuel injectors that are on the 2UZ engines in like the GX470 and the 4Runner V8. And so I put those guys in there because my other injectors were kind of old. So these are 12 holes and the stock are 4 holes. That's the difference. Also, I added a Fuel Lab adjustable fuel pressure regulator so that I can dial in the fuel pressure a little bit better, and capped off the stock one so that it's not modulating and only the aftermarket one is. And basically the reason I did that is because at the top end, especially with the new pulley, it was leaning out. It was going too lean in the air fuel ratio. So with that, I can now tune that in a little bit more precisely and get it running as it should. Other than that, I'm really impressed with how the stock ECU is able to run with the Supercharger. And that's the great thing about this Elate kit with this blower, is it can bolt onto any 100 series, or I guess any Toyota with the 2UZ, and you don't have to modify any of the emissions equipment, and you don't have to modify the ECU, and you can have a supercharged truck. It's really cool. So really happy with this kit. Thanks to Travis at Elate for giving me the sweet hat. I think it's like totally cool. So I'll be wearing it when I'm driving my supercharged Super Cruiser. Thanks for watching. So like I said, I was measuring the 0 to 60 times with my Draggy, and it's basically a little GPS and accelerometer device that you put on the top of the vehicle, and you do your runs, and using a smartphone, you can get basically the most accurate acceleration times that you can possibly get without actually going to a racetrack and being timed by the lasers. So this is extremely accurate. It's been tested back to back at drag strips, and it's like very, very accurate. So really cool. This is like $150 or something, and you can actually track the performance of your vehicle and actually set real benchmarks. You got to find like a stretch of private road or something, and something that's flat and consistent. But I've been tracking a lot of my vehicles, and you can actually measure if you do a performance modification and your car slows down, you know it. So these are really cool. It's a really cool tool if you're into screwing around with cars and making them go faster like I am. So check out the link in the description below for the Draggy and also a bunch of the other mods that I've done to my truck. Thanks for watching.